You know how, like sometimes you'll enjoy, I don't know if people do this anymore, but just bear with me because I'm out of date on TV and movies and so forth. But we used to watch series and you'd love them until you didn't. In other words, they went over their expiration date, right? Like they stayed around too long. If they left on the high, they would have been iconic, remembered forevermore. And same thing with like movies, right? They'll do a second one, a third one. And at some point you're like, oh, that's a shame. The first was, people start to compare, right? You start to compare after a certain amount of time. And then, and I'm sure it's tricky, right? Like and you end up getting cloudy and foggy of why you're doing what you're doing, because you start to get greedy, right? You start to get disillusioned by outside yourself, what others are thinking or saying or doing, or that you're making a ton of money. And so whatever the case is, you push the envelope just too far, and then what could have been, right? What once was so fabulous has now been like, ah. And so, you've seen that, you've heard that, you understand that. And then they were showing somebody who teaches personal development or law of attraction or all these different things, more or less the same thing. And it's like they were stuck on the same rhetoric, which was good, but they didn't seem to be evolving, right? And so they had me listen to something that I believe was fairly recent, and I could hear the oldness in it, which was a little disheartening for me, because it was a way to simplify it down, but it left much out of the equation. And in doing so, you come to a wrong conclusion. And so I think it's great to simplify it down, but if you're leaving things out of the equation, your answer is going to be incorrect. So you can only simplify it down when you do all the steps all the way through. And yet, none of us are exposed to all of the steps. This is why we can't encompass all of the universe or all people or all understandings, right? We can resonate, we can have certain degrees, but we are never we're not meant to, quote, get it in that sense. And yet, so as this person is spewing their thing, I heard a lot of the discord, and it was, a little disheartening for me. Just because, again, it was like that, I really enjoyed that TV series. I really enjoyed that program. I really enjoyed that whatever. And I was like, well, what is the problem? And so then they went on to show things like the telephone, right? Where it's like this person might have been like on the forefront of the telephone and was telling everybody how amazing it is and trying to explain it to everybody. You can be on the other side of the world. Just pick up this device and I'll call you. It'll ring. It'll come, it's amazing. And so excited that she had discovered it, understood it, learned it, and taught it to everybody else and kept teaching it to everybody else and kept showing everybody how amazing it is. And it is amazing. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. And yet it had continued to evolve. And now there's wireless, and now there's cell phones, and and it continues to evolve, but she's still stuck on the basic principles and doesn't recognize there's more added to the equation. And so simplifying it down now to what is simplified down is now out of date. It's out of touch. She hasn't kept up with the expansion. And so this happens to all of us. This is not a dig at any one person. This is what happens to all of us at times. And so I had said to them, well, so taking all of that into the equation and understanding all of that, what is the problem? Considering she's teaching this, that is what she's teaching. So what is her problem? Like, what is, it's like, well, she had been doing it for so long. It's like she forgot to pick her head up. So she just kept going on the basic principles she knew. And then she's scared to move into the unknown, ironically enough. Because to leave what she's doing, to leave on that high, to stop, it's like regurgitating or repeating at this point, the known, because she knows it, would require her now to leave it and go into the unknown. And when we've been doing something for so long, it's just more comfortable to stay put And so that's what ends up happening, because the once fabulous show, teaching, program, whatever, has now become, it's not the laughingstock. It's not that. It's like it has become a shame, right? Like not leaving on the high, right? Not knowing when to leave. It almost takes away from the beauty of it, which is a shame, because no, it was fabulous up until a certain point. So why discredit that? And yet that's what we do, because we remember the last days. We remember the end. We remember the last time we saw them. That's what we end up remembering. And so when we don't know how to go out on a high, when we don't know when to leave, because we start to seek outside ourselves, or we just get so comfortable, then we end up shooting ourselves in the foot. It like defeats the whole purpose. And yet it's a choice. But that's part of the equation that was left out. The inability to see these subtle differences and dismissing them in order to boil them down. And I get at the beginning the importance of that, but as you've mastered it, you're hopefully learning to master more and continue to grow, to add in those subtle differences so you can understand further and continue to expand and continue to elevate and teach the new versus staying stuck. For yourself as well, but then also your students get confused because they may have expanded and don't understand. And this is when it's like you have to hop teachers, right? It's time to move up from kindergarten to first grade, or it's time to move from grade school to high school, or now it's time to go off to college, or now it's time to go off and get your master's. And so all of that would be well and good if the teachers know, right? There's teachers that are, just use this simple example, could be like first grade teachers, and you want to go off to second, third, fourth grade, and they go, I know it all. You can stay right here in first grade forever. This is it. This is the end game. This is it. We're at the top. We're at the end. There's nothing ahead of us. What are you talking about? There's always more. There's always something ahead of you. You're just up to speed to where you are up to speed, right? This is the point. That's why there's 8 billion of us on the planet, to help one another to continue going up. But when we get stuck in our ego or get stuck in our comfort zone, we end up harming ourselves ultimately. But then we can harm those around us when we're stuck there. And I really just don't believe that's ever the intent. I shouldn't say ever, there's no absolutes, but I think the majority of the time that's not, just again, let's using simple, like these, let's use a TV series. They don't have ill intent, and they certainly don't, if they recognize they were pushing the envelope and would then be dismissed, they wouldn't have pushed the envelope. They would have left on the high. But sometimes it's really hard for people to know where the high is, right? It's hard to determine when to cash out, right? And if you're in alignment, not so hard. But when we live in this world of 3D world, when you have a million other people chirping in your ear, convincing you otherwise. So for instance, you have your alignment, you know what's right and best for you, and you don't act upon it soon enough. In other words, you decide you're leaving. This is it. You feel fabulous about the TV series you created. You feel like you've said your piece. You feel phenomenal about it. You don't feel like you have anything more of value to add to this storyline. And now you're ready to close that chapter and go into the unknown. Who knows what's next? And you go to end the series and you have 1 million people, from the production crew to everybody else chirping in your ear, encouraging you not to do it and telling you very valid reasons. All these people need jobs. All these people have families to feed. All these people have da. And it's making a lot of money. We're making so much money. You can still make money. You still love it. You love the characters. You get convinced enough ways where, again, it seems like good intention. It sounds correct. It sounds like, oh my God, well, I certainly want everybody to still be able to feed their family. Oh my God, I certainly want everybody to still be, oh my God, I certainly whatever. And yeah, I swear I still love the characters. I mean, my intention was to be done with it, but I certainly wouldn't want to be the cause of, right? And so it's like we can get into our own way when we don't trust ourselves and we allow others to seep their way in there. And again, it's not ill intent, right? Everybody's looking out for themselves. But they have to also be able to go into the unknown themselves, to have confidence in themselves, knowing, sure enough, this is a TV series. It could end tomorrow. We were lucky that it lasted this long. This is beautiful that we did such good work and entertained so many people. We made so many people happy and laugh and gather together as families to watch the show and to listen and learn and talk about it the next day at the office. We had community. We brought people together. All these beautiful, wonderful things as a result. And so happy to be a part of it. So happy it lasted as long as it did. And now I know that I can do this job really well. And I get to have this fabulous thing on my resume. And I get to go and hopefully work on another fabulous show. So if everybody was loving themselves and aligned with themselves and seeing it for the truth of it, instead of persuading and trying to sell others on what's best for them and convince others who are making one decision to not go with their decision, but to go with somebody else's decision, if we could avoid doing that, we could all love ourselves and stay in alignment. And yes, there's going to be times where we're not going to be happy. We're not going to be able to see that positive upswing. But that's then our work to do. Our work is not to sales pitch others to rope them back into where we're at our level, right? And yet that's what happens. We rope them back in to stay down at our level when you knew better. You were already ahead of that curve. But now you're going back down because they convinced you they're ahead of the curve. And it's like, there's no race here, and you're welcome to stay at your curb. You can think it's above or below. I don't give a fuck. I'm not in competition with you, right? You have to stay in your own alignment. Very interesting. Very interesting. And this has been coming up a lot lately. And it was hard for me to understand what they were piecing together. And I think because they were showing a lot of things I loved and a lot of people I loved. And so it was disheartening. Like it does it is sad because we don't want to see people go out that way. Certainly not ones we love. You know, we want to see them go out on a high. Wouldn't you rather people be like, man, you were fabulous. I wish you'd come back. I wish you stayed longer. I wish you'd say more. Versus, oh, thank God you left. You were really behind. You were making a fool of yourself at the end, right? Like, right? You can look at it that way, but don't jump too soon either. Don't leave based on that. Don't leave based on how others are going to respond. That's the whole point. But if you are one who's tending to do that, spin it to your truth. Right? So again, the same thing with the TV series. Like, don't listen to all that. That's just weighing you down with what other people want and need. What do you want and need? As long as it's your truth and you're staying in alignment, you're coming from your heart space, you're always going to disappoint somebody. That's just reality. That's the idea of stop learning. Don't people please, because that's manipulating. And in this case, if you ended up staying and continuing the series, you're manipulating your own heart. You're lying to your own heart. You're convincing your own heart to sit on the back burner. We're going to put all these other people ahead of us. We're not going to go into the unknown and discover something new for our own expansion. We're going to stay stagnant and stuck so others can continue to feed off of us. Do you see? When you simplify it like this, I think it's easier to see it and hear it. And if you can take that blueprint and put it on yourself where you're staying stuck and stagnant and comfortable, it might allow you to be encouraged to take that leap. Because it is hard at times to see. It's hard to see where we're at. This is why it's really nice to have other people around you who understand these bigger, broader concepts as well. Because just as you can help them, because you can see their stuff more clearly, because not that you don't care, but you don't care. You're not invested like they are. It's not your life, it's their life. So it's easier for you to point it out, just like it'll be easier for them to point it out for you. Right? This is the idea of relationships help you grow. If you're willing to, if you want to, right? If you're not defensive or, but that's getting stuck in the ego. That's the fear. That's the worry. That's letting the last known information take the lead. And in taking that lead, it's just trying to protect you, but it's not telling it truth on what is happening right here and right now. And so sometimes we need somebody else to step in and tell us truth to soothe down our ego and be like, calm down, sit down, everything's fine. I know that's the last thing you experienced. That's old news. We don't want to recreate that. We don't want to call that back in. So stop focusing on it as if it's true right here and right now. It's no longer true. Let's choose something else so we can experience something new. We can make a different choice so our nervous system can recognize and our ego can realize new information and go, oh, this is the new way. We just had to change this. We had to change our response, change our focus, change our reaction. That was old news. This is new news. I'm not scared of this anymore. But we have to do that kind of work for ourselves and recognize when and where we're not. If we want to be in charge, if we want to take the lead, if we want to design and not just fly by the seat of our pants and hopefully by chance we fly into something good. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.